Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here, Angelus, son of Abaddon. And tonight, I'd like to discuss with you Mantia. Okay? Now, what is Mantia? Well, Mantia is the later term within Mancy. Okay? Think of it more as the practice of something. Now, the ironic part is that I've been getting a lot of requests, and I've been going through all my emails and stuff like that from people from my pages. So, a lot of people have been wondering about divination, okay, divining things, and how many of them really did exist back in the day, not compared to what we know today. Now, a lot of pagan and Wiccan traditions speak just to a certain amount. Okay, like tea leaf reading, palmistry, crystal balls, perhaps even cartomancy, tarot cards, stuff like that. But how many are there exactly? Okay, there's a lot. Okay, and by a lot, let me put it to you this way: one, two and a half pages. That's every single line written of a practice and what it is, ranging from today, going all the way back to the 11th century. Okay, there's a lot of different stuff here, so I thought I would just name them off a little bit here and kind of just give you a brief description of what they are. Okay, now if you type in the seven forbidden practices, you'll probably come up with Richard Keffer's book for the fifth, the Necromancer's Manual for the 15th century necromancer, known as the Munich manuscripts. Okay, that was his variation where he put a bunch of things together through the actual practices from various different experiments done in the original Munich manuscript. Okay, so um, number one, you have what is known as aeromancy, and this is basically divining by the air. Okay, you look at the atmospheric pressure, the colors within the sky. You obviously know when it's going to be pink, it's going to be kind of a goldish color, mixture with pink and red. It's going to be a scorcher the next day. Okay, you look at storm clouds, and depending on how thick they are, how low they are, will determine if it's a high metric system or a low metric system. If it's low, you're most likely going to be dealing with thunderstorms. You're going to be dealing with the hot and cold pressure systems colliding, creating storms such as hurricanes, things such as tornadoes and stuff like that. So, divining the air is one of the seven originals that were identified, okay, by the church and condemned by them. All right. The next one is Eletromancy. Okay. I can't speak tonight. Aletryo Mancy. Okay. Which is basically divining by the cock or poultry. Okay. This is where you divine by different, types of birds, how they flock, how they fly, how they die, or even, what they do. Okay. Has a certain meaning behind it. Tomancy, divining by meal, flour, or bran. Anti-nopomancy, okay? Divining by entrails of women and children. This is one of the earliest forms that I found. Okay. Um, arithmancy, divining by numbers. Astrogalomancy, divining by dice. Axinomancy, divining by saws. Boto, uh, botanomancy. Obviously, this is divining by herbs. Okay, those of you who have read up and practices things like tea leaf reading. Okay, divining, incense smoke and stuff like that. This is kind of just goes along with that. The divining of leaves, plants, poisons, and stuff like that. The overall herbs. Uh, Capnomancy, divining by smoke. Caromancy, divining by melting of wax. Cephalomancy, divining by boiling of an ass's head. That's right, a donkey's head. Okay. I found that one very interesting myself. So I'm probably going to be delving more into that one later on. There's a few of these that actually caught my attention quite well. Um, Chartomancy, divining by writing and papers. Chiromancy, that is things like palmistry. Okay. And a lot of people, when they think palmistry, they're thinking alchemical sequences. They're thinking the head and heart line, but they don't go into the shape of the fingernails or they don't go into the fingers, okay, and the different meanings behind them. They don't go into the various, like the ringlets of the wrist, okay, the fate line, the sun line, the moon line, the life line. All of this stuff plays into effect. But when you get into alchemy, though, you're also getting into the reading of the feet, okay, and the lines of the feet. Now, I found recently through this study, okay, of the different Nancy's, that there's actually another one that actually works specifically with feet. Okay. Um, crystallomancy, divining by glasses. Clearomancy, divining by lots. The Koskinomancy, divining by sheaves. Now, that one's a very interesting one. I would actually recommend that you delve into that. Crithomancy, divining by grains or corn. Dactylomancy, divining by rings. Demonomancy. Okay, now we've heard of demonolatry, we've heard of demonologists and all this stuff. What I found interesting about this was this is actually a practice. Okay, and this one deals by divining from evil demons or devils, okay? Basically suggesting for them, okay? It's more of the suggesting of these beings, okay? Very, very enlightening. Gastronomancy. Now, when you hear this one, you're thinking more of things to do with the stomach, right? The lower intestines, gastrointestinal issues, stuff like that. Well, guess what? It's not. This deals with the belly, yes, the stomach area, but it deals with the signs thereof upon the belly. Okay. Geomancy, divining of the earth. This is another one. Okay. So you have aeromancy. You have chiromancy. You have geomancy. Okay? Right there are just a couple of the seven forbidden rites. Okay? Now, geomancy is something that's very, very interesting because you can always detect, especially if you're using aeromancy and geomancy together, those of you who enjoy weather. Okay? I know for a fact that I have a few friends on Facebook that when they see storms, they really want to go chasing after them. So they can be actually classified as storm chasers. Okay. Now, geomancy, if you pick up a pile of dirt and you just let it fall. Have you ever watched the movie starring Helen Hunt known as Tornado? Okay. Now, when that guy, her ex-husband, Bill something, the weatherman or whatever he used to be, whatever the guy's name is, picks up the dirt and he does this, okay? And he's watching it blow, okay? The way it's falling. He can tell what is coming and where is it's going to go, okay? Now, what's ironic is that it doesn't limit here, though. The geomancy practice deals with a lot of different things, from the shifts in the plates, especially that with, say, for an example, earthquakes. It deals with tornadoes. It deals with a lot of things. Okay. And when I say a lot of things, I mean a lot of freaking things. Okay. Back in the old days, you could always tell where a herd of animals is running. Okay. Just by listening to the rumbling of the ground. Okay. So this is an actual practice. Okay. Now, let's see. The next one is gyromancy. Gyromancy. Divining by rounds or circles. Okay. Very intriguing. The next one is also a one of the seven, known as hydromancy. The definition by or divining by water. Okay. Now, this one here, I didn't even know this existed. It's spelled Iethyomancy. And this is divining by fish. I mean, seriously? Divining fish? That's something that took me by surprise. I didn't even know about this. Okay? Ideolomancy. Idolomancy. Okay? Idols, images, and figures. Okay? Is what you're divining here. Lampadomancy. Okay? Divining by candles and lamps. Lecanomancy. Divining by the basin of water. Okay? Lithomancy. By divining of stones. Now, I've heard of this, but I've also heard of a couple other names of that, by the way. Logarithmancy. The divining of Lagarthas. It's Lagarithms. Okay? I don't know who writes these words, but especially going back over centuries of different linguistics. Okay? Weird spellings. Now, you look at the word discovery and how we spell it today, and then you go into Reginald Scott's book and it's got an IE at the end. It's like, what the hell? Let's see. Then you have the necromancy, divining by knives or swords. Oenomancy, divining by wine. Omphilomancy, divining by the navel. Okay, basically your belly button. Okay, apparently it can tell a lot from what I can gather. Oneomancy, that of dreams. onomatomancy, divining by names. Oni, onychomancy, by nails. That's Onychomancy. Okay? Look it up. It's an actual practice. I couldn't believe it myself when I looked it up. Okay? And then you got ornithomancy, divining by birds, the way they flock, the way they move, the way they look. Podomancy is the one I mentioned earlier that goes along with chiromancy. Okay? This one here, podomancy, is actually divining by your feet. Okay? Very fascinating. And it's something that I would recommend writing you down in your grimoire. Okay? The next one is psychomancy. Okay, Psychomancy, and this is divining by the how should I say this? It is by the men's souls, the affections, wills, religious or moral. How should I say this? Deposition. Okay, of the individual. Pyromancy, another one of the 7 forbidden practices. This one here, I'm not going to get into it because it speaks for itself. Pyromancy. Okay. Rotomancy, by the stars. Sciomancy, by shadows. This is also known as shadowmancy, by the way, for those of you who do not know. Spatulomancy, by skin, bones, and excrements. This is also another one of the 7 forbidden practices. Okay? Stereomancy, divining by the elements. Sternomancy, divining by the beasts, I should say by the breasts to the belly or to the stomach. Okay. Sycomancy, Sycomancy, divining by figs. Okay. So right there, so far, I've already spelled out 6 of the 7 mancies that were forbidden by the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican. Okay. And later, the mainstream JCI. Theomancy. Okay. Divining by pretending to divine by the revelation of the Spirit and by the Word of God. Okay, this is basically those white light practitioners that like to use scripture from the Bible. Okay, and don't mind the furball behind me trying to act cute because there's a camera on. That's right. I called you out on that. All right, and then you have theomancy. Okay, this is divining by the beasts. Okay. Free from Mancy. Okay, that's Tuphramancy. And this is the divining by ashes. Okay, and the last one is Tycromancy. And this is divining by the coagulation of cheese. And in one word, for all negomancy, that's Nagomancy, or better yet known as necromancy, and by inspecting, consulting, and divining by, with, or from the dead. Okay? So necromancy is the number 1 forbidden art. It is the blackest of all 7 practices shunned by the church. Okay. And I found that very interesting because having so many people curious about divination in general, how many different ways? I mean, you take for an example, if I go over to this bookshelf right over here, I can go right to the top shelf that has a lot of the black arts type stuff like demonolatry, the grimoires and stuff like that, and I can pull a book off called Bringing Down Belial, okay? Or Curses, Hexes, and Hexes, okay, which is another book. Both of these books are by S. Connolly, okay? And what's ironic is though it deals with the seven forbidden arts, but it also, in the Cursing and Hexing book by S. Connolly, she also utilizes scripture as a means to curse someone, right out of the book of Psalms or that of Lamentations, okay, even the book of Ezekiel. Now, I found that very interesting. That was the first time I came across anyone, demonology, you know, being a demonologist, demonolator, whatever you want to call yourself, to witchcraft or whatever, that deals with cursing. So that kind of enlightened me a little bit. But then you can also go over to this bookshelf over here, and I can pull off the Rite of Exorcism. Okay, right from the third shelf from the bottom. Okay, and I'm looking directly at it. All right, right now. Now, exorcisms have been used in just about every culture, every religion. Okay, so this is nothing new. Even in the black arts, you have invocations and evocations. And when we get into the Mancies, the main two classifications of this is the internal and the external. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting for you. We know this today as invocations and evocations, especially as practitioners of the dark arts. Okay. Black magic, where we literally and willingly invite a demon into ourselves. They have numerous different choices. So you open up the grounds, you open up your inner sanctum yourself. You either invite them into yourself, or you can invite them to show themselves in any form they wish, through candles, through water, through crystal balls. Remember, I said glasses. What is a crystal ball? Just another form of glass. Okay. Um, through wine. Okay, the unholy water, okay, wine, alcohol, elixir, even blood sorcery, okay, where you can divine through blood sorcery itself, okay. There's a lot that you can do. There's a lot that can be employed just in these arts. But to actually delve into the different types of divination, breaking them down and taking them back to their old names, that's what's right here. I've given you every name that I've come across right there. Now, if you want, I could always spell them out for you. Okay. So you can actually look them up. But the key to any form of sorcery is finding out what you're willing to do, what you're willing to give up, how far you want to take your magic, your sorcery. Okay. Now, when it comes to divination, such as what I just named off, I'm leaving that up to you. Okay. You have the choice to be a real practitioner and invite them into yourself, or to create a circle and utilize it to ensnare or trap a spirit. Personally, I find it dishonorable, disrespectful to the spirits to create the triangle of evocation. Now, for some reason, it works. It does work. I will give you that. But when you grow powerful enough that you can summon them through their seal, their sigil, or through any one of these divination tools, why would you need a circle of protection? In a past video, I actually showed you that the circle is not of protection, but empowerment. It is a circle of empowerment. It empowers your sorcery, your magic. Okay. But throughout history, we are also reminded of what people believed. In biblical, we see how biblical people like King Saul went to the Witch of Endor. You have an astrologer by the name of Nicodemus who went to their Messiah, a sorcerer, by the way, and divined. Even their Messiah himself freely admitted within the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that he raised Lazarus from the dead. The centurion's daughter was dead, and he said, "Oh, she's not dead. She's only sleeping. Arise and wake." And oop, there she goes. Like somebody just hit that nipple and went, "Oh, pop goes the weasel." That quick. Okay? Now think about it for just a minute. Just think about it for just a minute. Now let's get into shamanism. Okay? Herbs and plants, bones have been used as far back as ancient Gaelic, Scandinavian, Baltic, which is modern day Ukraine, Ukrainian. You got ancient Swedish traditions utilizing bones. You have the definition of aromancy, water, fire, the elements in general. Through religion after religion after religion, philosophy after philosophy, you're going to see the same things just with different freaking names. Okay? But tracing them back, that is a gift. That is knowledge that you cannot buy, but only earn. Okay? I respect those who do their own research. I respect those who go out and roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. They're not afraid to shed blood, tears, and sweat to do what is necessary to gain that power. I got a lot of respect for these types. I look at the flack that some of these practitioners have had to deal with over the years. And I have to shake my head at their stupidity of these idiots because when you question them on their type of practice, they don't have an answer for you. But yet they're the first ones to kick up dust when somebody does speak out on it. Ironic, isn't it? You want to know what sorcery is? Go out and look at it. Delve into it. Get involved in it. Practice it. Because you are the only one that can experience it for yourself. But these right here are the Mantias. From alchemy to herbalism to identifying everything that you want to divine is right there. Nicole Hampton, how you doing? So yeah, by the look of the sky tonight, because it is 7:57, it's kind of a golden color, kind of a whitish with a little bit of gold. And if I look over that direction, I can tell you it's going to be warm tomorrow. Probably about, I'm doing all right. Just been doing some chores today, doing a lot of research, preparing for a ritual that I've got coming up. So yeah, I've got a few things that are coming up. I'm actually healing my leg as well. So from the how should I say this? The inflammation of the bursa. Fun. A little flare up from a former injury this past week. So yeah, I mean, I'm doing all right too. So Finished out my work week yesterday. Or not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Rested yesterday. So guess what? Today and tomorrow, it's all occultism. It's all about videos. It's all about teaching. It's all about practice and study. And then Sunday and Monday, it's family time and back to work. Yeah, fun, fun, fun. So yeah, so like I said, these are the Mantias. Check them out for yourself. Write them down. Delve into them. Learn for yourself. I can tell you that there's a few in here that I didn't even know existed. I mean, I used to call it tarot card readings until I found out that cartomancy goes all the way back to the 11th century. That was a surprise to me. And that was about 7 years ago. You consider I've been a practitioner for 30 years. 30 years, and I'm still learning. So if I'm still learning, so can you. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. I hope this has been intellectual. Hope it's been educational. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're interested in learning something that most people are too afraid to speak about when it comes to occultism, hit me up. All right? Type it down here. I always check my messages daily. Sometimes on Messenger, I forget to look at the backup one where you go for those who want to contact you. So give me some time. I will get to it. And I will do some research into it and pull some sources and materials for you and really get you on your path so you can actually learn it for yourself. All right? Have a good one. Thanks, Nicole, for jumping on here. And for those of you who are going to jump on here, have a good one.